You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult in finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C., aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you, no questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading.
All right. I think StreamYard is having a little bit of problems. There we go. Having a bit of a problem with my camera there. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. For those of you who are here, I have to apologize. I'm sorry I'm late. There are unforeseen events in my errand run earlier and wasn't able to make it at 8 p.m. But thankfully, I'm here now, and I hope that you guys have questions for me that you're excited to learn from. And before I move forward, and I could see the questions piling up already, I'd like to remind you that we have new episodes in the Spotify podcasts. So if you haven't yet, please do follow us on Spotify. We publish 3 episodes a week, and they're not that long. This week we published 3 episodes. October 26th to 28th, that's with Mr. Joseph Worker, whose business is very unique, and that is in kind of recycling stuffs that people want to get rid of in their lives and reselling these things. And we also have an AMA with Miss Antoinette Aquino. So we have Does Autonomy Help Make Better Business Decisions? So for those of you who are still trying to figure out what kind of structure do I want to build my team around, how about autonomy? This is going to help you out to realize if that's the way to go for you. We have Why Your Business Stopped Growing with Tony Aquino, and we have the risks you face as a young CEO because Mr. Joseph Worker also became CEO at a very young age, and he also had to experience some things that I also personally experienced as a CEO when I was 22 years old. And if you haven't followed us yet on YouTube, you can subscribe on YouTube as well if you're more visual type of learner or you just want to see, what happens when I do my podcast recordings, you could subscribe to YouTube. Okay, moving on to the questions. So I'm gonna extend a little bit to 9:20, 9:30 p.m. tonight because I wasn't able to get back on time here in my work area. First question from Vian: What management techniques have worked best for SEO Hacker Team? Okay. Wow. Bigat ka agad ah. Management techniques. Definitely, I would say it's going to be. We don't really have one, right? I don't think we have a management technique that we just apply and slap onto the team, and we don't have like schools of thought. For example, I subscribe to Jim Collins' management style, or um, Peter Drucker's management style. We don't have those kinds of schools of thought that we use as, management techniques. But I'll tell you how I manage, and it's usually, when I manage, it's with delegation in mind. It's to build a leader and to build, or a manager in his or her own right, in my team. So what I usually do is, at the beginning, it's much like driving a car. When you have a Ferrari as a car, for example, you're not just gonna give the keys to your brand new Ferrari to a new hire or someone who's pretty new in your team. What you'll do is, you'll drive it and then teach them, here's how to drive this car, these are the controls, this is how to make it do what you want, to get from point A to point B. Okay, this is how I do it. And then after that, you give them the keys, but you sit right beside them and say, how would you do it? I'm here to guide you. You have questions, I'm just here. You make mistakes, I'm just here to help you out. And then after that, then if they don't make dents in your Ferrari, hindi nila nabangga, then you could give them the keys, right? And tell them, okay, you can drive the Ferrari now. And a lot of people, when they manage teams, they don't do it that way. They do it in a way where they just give the keys and say, here it is, right? Do whatever you think is best with it. Just get it from point A to point B. Now, when that car gets to point B and sira-sira na siya, it has a lot of dents, it has a lot of cracks, and its windows are broken, then you get so frustrated with the person and say, why did you do it that way? I have to micromanage you and stuff. And that kind of delegation is irresponsible, because you just push the person, just believe that, they can fly on their own. While, it's nice to believe that way, or that much, to someone in your team, it's irresponsible for you to abdicate your responsibility like that and not teach them before you delegate responsibility to them. That's the management style that I practice, because as CEO, I can't do everything in my team. I have to delegate a lot of stuff so that I can focus on the things that only I can do. And that's making the critical decisions, that's winning key accounts. So I have to delegate. And how I manage is, at first, I handhold people, and through a certain length of time, but I keep it to a minimum. Because if you have to handhold people for a long time, that means they probably are not suitable for the job, or they're not that competent, or they're not that sharp. And it depends on the sharpness and competence you need for that position. But in my case, I prefer working with people who have, who has gold inside, and I just need to dig a little bit deeper to get there, rather than having to dig a lot, deeper, because of the constraints of time. So in my case, I don't have a lot of time, so I need to work with people who already have a lot of, or have good competence, are sharp, learn fast, are driven, have good work ethic. And I teach them the ropes. Then I check, can you drive my Ferrari from point A to point B, and with no dents and with no damages? And if the answer is yes, then I say, okay, then you could here's the keys, go do how you want to drive it. You could drive it, right? So that's the kind of management style that I have. In terms of techniques, I really don't have a lot, right? Leadership, I could share more of my leadership principles. I wouldn't say techniques, but more of principles. But management techniques, I don't think we adhere to management techniques, in SEO hacker. Talagang leadership yung what we subscribe to for our team. How do you manage and keep remote teams engaged? Um, Engaging remote teams is all about, if you're still going to your vision. If are you still all going towards that vision together? Are you still communicating? Because when people work remotely, focus is high but communication is low. Unlike when you're in the office na isang topic mo lang, you can talk with anyone you pretty much want. Communication is high because there's zero barrier to communicate, but focus is low, right? It's a lot lower depending on the person, on how they work and how they focus. But usually that's the case. And so when people are working remotely, we have to make sure that we have meetings. Actually, we have a lot more meetings now than when we were working in the office because of the advent of remote teams being not so communicable. Kasi bibihira lang kayo mag-usap. You know, you have a lot more time just chatting. You don't see each other. You don't really talk audibly with each other. So we had to make ways. We used Discord. You guys know I use Discord for leadership staff for you to ask questions. So we use Discord as well in our team so that we can just hop in a channel and talk. We also have, we have meetings for per team. We have meetings per week for the whole team. We also have a meeting for that. We also have meetings for our team leaders. We had meetings for the execom before, and so we instituted a lot of meetings, and then we would have game nights where we would play Jackbox via Steam. I would join that sometimes. Rarely do I join, but I try my best to still be able to join those things. And also, we have our Bible studies every week, and that's led by my wife Apple and one of our team leaders, whose name is John, and a couple of other people would also have their own initiatives in trainings and workshops. We had one with a web development team. Vic was able to lead that one. So we have these things that help bind the team together again. Just seeing each other, hearing from each other, that helps a lot. How do you maintain a long distance working relationship with your team? It's more of just asking people how they are. I mean, if even if you're in the office but you never ask someone, "Hey, how are you doing? How's your family? How do you feel about work? Are you getting along with your team?" If you don't talk with your team members, even if you're like zero distance, literally you're like both in the office in the flesh, but you don't do that, then you're not really maintaining or improving the relationship. And it doesn't matter if it's long distance or zero proximity. In my opinion, is if you don't ask how they're doing with life at home, with their family, with work, with things that matter to them, then you're not going to be able to build that relationship. So in my case, I try as much as I can to check in with my people who directly work with me. So I can't do that for everyone now because we're already growing. We're past 50, on the way to 60 people now. And I can't do that with everyone. But fortunately, my team leaders are a lot more relational than I am. So they do that a lot with their team. And I do it with my team leaders for the most part. What advice would you give to a new manager or leader? Keep learning, study about leadership, study about management, be an eternal student, and that takes humility. Learn from other people, seek the help of and the wisdom of mentors and other people who have gone ahead of you. That helps a lot. Read a lot of books, listen to podcasts, keep learning, consume anything you can that would help you be a better leader or manager. Because at the end of the day, people will pay you not with your title, not because of your title or position, not because of your diploma, but because of the value you are able to build within yourself. That's why people will pay you. That's why they'll hire you. That's why they get you for their business. And in my case, 100% that's true. That's why I still read a lot of books. I still listen to a lot of podcasts, especially when I exercise or do idle stuff like driving or taking a shower. And that's why I also seek help from mentors as well, because I don't know it all. And there's a lot of stuff that I need to learn even as an entrepreneur. How do I promote people in a way where it's sustainable? How do I budget? How much money will we use to promote, a couple of people this year? How do I know who to promote this year based from team leaders' assessments? How can I trust those assessments? Like, these are questions that are legitimate when you're growing, and I had to ask these questions from people who are ahead of me and who have grown businesses bigger than mine and stronger than mine and ahead of mine. So always be learning. From Bam, what do good leaders do to effectively manage their team? They care for their team, right? For me, that's very important. If people know that you care about them and that they can trust you, then you will be able to influence them. Without influence, you can't lead them, you can't manage them well. They become a source of frustration rather than a source of joy and pride. And for me, it's about caring for people. It's very important that they know that when they're in trouble, you got their backs, or you're gonna go in and help, right? You're gonna get your hands dirty, gonna go in and help. And even in SEO Hacker right now, we're facing numerous difficulties in terms of changing processes and how we do things. I'm 100% in the operations, fixing a lot of stuffs and doing things inside. And that is very important, because if your people don't think that you're going to get your hands dirty with these things, then they're also not going to get, because like, why would they do that if you, the leader, are not willing to do it? So for me, that's very important. You care for them, and they know that when things get tough, you're willing to go into the trench and lead the charge for them. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hey. All right, we got shout outs. Hey Ron, thanks for being here again. Hey Bry, do you have a team here in Cebu? No, I don't. We're all based here in BF Paranaque. No, we're not based in BF. The office is based in BF Paranaque. No one's there though, but most of my people are in Metro Manila, Cavite, Muntinlupa area. So um, the office is in the southern part of Metro Manila. So my people are also from the southern part of Metro Manila. But if you'd like to talk about it, I'm open to it. You let me know. From Ron, question: would you consider using Discord for leadership stack live shows? I hate leaving my phone open to listen in, and YouTube eats up a lot of mobile data when I'm out. I actually had Discord opened before yung audio, and I could do that again. I could just leave the audio in Discord open and you could tune into that. I could do that if you prefer doing it that way. I could see before lang that little to no one was there already. But yeah, I could just leave it open. In fact, I could do it now if you want to. If you're anyway just listening via audio, I'm leaving the Discord open. My mic's there, so you guys could hear whatever I'm saying here from Discord. There you go, Ron. From Kazu, hi Sean, when you started hiring a team for SEO Hacker, anong position yung unang hinar mo? Plan ko din kasi mag-start ng SEO business here in Japan. The first two, actually I hired two guys. This is full-time employment because I got freelancers before, like writers, link builders, and I'd pay them per article, I'd pay them per X number of links per month. But if the first two hires I got, one was in charge of content, generating content, because my SEO strategy is content centric and creating really good content for our clients. And one was in charge of links. So basically, I hire people for operations. And even today, the team I bulk up the most is the operations team rather than the business development team, because business development is something that I feel strongly about. I still do a lot of our business development. I still try to win a lot of our clients as well. And that team is very thin. It's just me and Steffi. So there's just two of us. But yeah, I usually hire people last on the things that I'm really good at. I know I'm good at it. I'm not gonna hire for that. I'm gonna do it as long as I can to make my operations as lean as possible. But yeah, I wanted to serve our clients with the best quality that we can produce. That's why I bulk up the operations first, because they're the ones producing the results. So hope that helps and hope that makes sense, Kazu. And Japan is a fantastic place to start an SEO business because they're using Yahoo JP, and Yahoo and Bing, they're just following Google's algorithm. So it's not that difficult. It shouldn't be that difficult for SEO in Japan. Um, I studied a little bit of hiragana and katakana and a little bit of kanji when I was in college, but I didn't stick to it, so I forgot like 99% of it already. Yeah, but yeah, God bless your business. Hey, Manzar, thanks for tuning in from LinkedIn. Do you think backlinks still matter? I think they do, not to secure a position on the first page, but to secure a position in top three for any given keyword with a keyword difficulty of 15 plus. Backlinks still matter. I mean, that's still a pretty heavy, pretty weighty factor. There's so many factors now, but I think when you're trying to compete for rankings, like you've done all you can for content, you've done all you can for on-site optimization, you've done all you can for site speed, for security, anything and everything you can directly manipulate. If you've done all you can for that, what is left is now the links, the battle for really good quality links. And that's usually where we compete, because Google shows you millions of results per keyword search, and you're competing for the top 10 out of millions and millions of other websites. And getting really good backlinks for your web pages or your website, I think, still matters. And I don't know where you got the idea that it doesn't, but that's they're probably not telling you the truth, because it does. So I hope that helps. Hey Vian, yeah. That's yeah. Thanks for quoting what I said earlier. People don't pay for degrees. They don't pay for yeah, for they don't even pay you for your output. They pay you for your value as a person, in my opinion. And that for me is very important. And a lot of people have to realize that, because a lot of people would say, my job, I'm not really making a lot of money. I wish I would make more money, but this is the job I have, and I have to stick to it. But the truth is, if you just put more value to yourself by learning new things, again, it's not that hard. It's just learning from mentors, listening to podcasts that are important and relevant to your life, reading books. Where do you start? Well, you could start with leadership or personal growth. Those are really good areas to start, and that will catalyze whatever else you'd want to learn and invest in. When you invest in yourself that way, you generate value for yourself, and that value cannot be taken away by anyone or anything. And that's going to snowball to more people willing to pay you for it. In fact, if, for example, you put it in your LinkedIn profile that you've been able to read X number of books, listen to X number of podcasts, maybe you'd like to put in the podcast episodes there by whoever the speaker is. I don't know, John Maxwell, Dave Ramsey, for example, or Patrick Lencioni. That's actually pretty valuable. I mean, if I see an applicant who have these things in their profile, that's very enticing for me to talk with that person and see if I could hire that person, because I know their principles are somewhat going to be similar to mine, because I learn from these people. I learn from their podcasts, from their books. And if they do as well, that's just going to improve their chances of me hiring them. So I hope that helps, Vian. Fawad, hey, happy to see you too. Thanks for tuning in here, Fawad. Really appreciate that. Profiles and backlinks are affected. Profile backlinks are affected or not. Profile backlinks, any links from social media, doesn't carry a lot of weight. It carries authenticity and trust, but not ranking points. So if you have a lot of links, like you create profiles and just get links from those profiles to your website, I think that's generally a waste of time. But if you ask me if you're gonna link like from your Facebook profile or your Twitter profile to your website, that carries authenticity and trust, and Google will honor that. And but in terms of ranking points, I don't think it does carry any ranking points. So I wouldn't go that route for link building. Okay. Got the idea from your own experience. Wow. Okay. Can easily rank any content in the first page with good content, but to get it ranked on the top three, factor of backlinks become really important. That depends on a lot of factors. I mean, if there's not much competition, sure, with a really good content, I think you could enter the first page. But if competition is tight for that keyword, even if you have the best content amongst the group, I don't think you're gonna enter the first page. You're gonna need links for sure. Humble, hungry, and smart. Yeah, so that's definitely some of the things that I look for when I'm hiring someone, for sure. Thanks for that reminder, Mitch. And now I go back to some of the questions that we have up here. Oh man, we got a lot of questions. How do leaders handle and resolve conflicts in a team? It depends on the conflict. If the conflict is big, has festered, and the two parties cannot resolve it by themselves because it gets uglier, then the leader has to mediate. The leader has to talk with both parties and say, what's your beef, what's your problem with this other person or this other party, and then talk with the other party. Try to merge two sides of the coin, try to see both sides, and then when you have finally hashed it out for yourself, ask them to now sit in the conference room, and you have to make sure you're there, and you hash it out between them. This has to take place because if you don't, that conflict that's festering will affect their clients, and you're going to lose clients just because both parties are not agreeable with each other and has sort of have a sort of bad blood against each other and don't want to work well together. So generally, if it's the conflict's grown to that level, you're going to want to mediate. But if it's a small conflict, you could just ask them to resolve it as early and as fast as possible, especially if both parties are quite mature in terms of their emotional capability. But if they're not emotionally mature, then you're still gonna want to mediate. And it's sad. I'm sad to say that there's a lot of people today who are soft, who are onion skinned, and who are snowflakes. So you as the leader would probably have to mediate in a lot of conflicts in your team, depending on what kind of people you have in your team. Hope that helps. As a leader, how can you monitor and develop individuals within your team that has potential? You just sense them. I mean, if you've done business, like I've been doing business for a decade, and more than 100 people have come and gone from my team. You just know like who has leadership potential. Often these are people who have good work ethic. I think that's the baseline. If they have good work ethic, they keep producing, and they keep having their own initiative to learn new things. That's a very good sign that this person has leadership potential. You know why work ethic is one of the more important signals? It's because the most difficult person to lead is yourself. The most difficult person to lead is yourself. So if you have a good work ethic, that means the person leads himself or herself well. And if that's the case, that means the person can potentially lead others well. The other thing that I try to look for is the hunger to learn and grow. If they have their own initiative to learn and grow, that's a very good sign that this is a potential leader. Because I don't need to keep checking in on this person and spoon feeding him or her stuffs that I think they should learn to grow. If they have the initiative to learn, that's going to be another good sign. The other sign that I look for is humility. And this takes time because there are people who are really good in hiding it. They just seem humble for the at the beginning when they don't know a lot of stuffs. But once you teach them and they learn and they grow in their skill and they grow in their influence in the team, you'll see the ugly head of pride rearing. And this happens a lot, right? I'm not gonna say it rarely happens. It happens a lot. In fact, recently I just allowed someone to leave just because of that kind of attitude where the person was trusted. I personally taught a lot of stuffs that the person knows, and I also put him under my wing. And sadly, pride, that's usually when pride and ego comes out. It's when the person knows more knows a lot more than when they started, have more influence with the team. Then you can see the true humility of a person then. And for me, humility is going to be one of the key points of seeing whether someone is a potential leader or not. If they have really good humility, they're not entitled, they are thankful and grateful, they're loyal, they have concern for you and the company. These are good signs of humility. So I hope that helps. Just three things. I'm going to keep it simple, but those three things are very important signs or signals for me to see if someone's a potential leader. How do you keep your team motivated to help them give their best on the job? Right now, we have our clap session. So every week, we applaud people who would work well and go the extra mile for our clients. So there are times when, I notice we notice things. We know when people give their best. We know when people wake up early. Like this week, I'm impressed with someone whose name is Erica, and she works in our team. She's one of our specialists, and she woke up at somewhere 6 something a.m. and time in is at 9 a.m. So I noticed that, and I told her that it's impressive, and I'm impressed, and I appreciate her doing that. So, and I'm saying it here, she impressed me with that. I notice these things, and a lot of other people in my team also notice things that our team members do, and we record that, and we announce it every Monday morning, every Monday afternoon, and we applaud them for it. So we appreciate them. We notice these things. A lot of people. The thing is, if they go the extra mile and do things for the company, it's not even noticed. They don't get anything for it. And the last time that they got applauded is during their graduation, and that's a sad fact of the world. And this is why we have the Monday clap sessions to really recognize and tell them that, hey, I noticed that. That helps keep them motivated. Other than that, we have our core values. One of our core values is grit, and within that core value, we there's a quote there by George Bernard Shaw where it says, "Don't complain that the world will not devote itself to making you happy." It's just part of a very quite long quote. It's a small part of a long quote that I put there, but we really don't like entitled people in the team. We would rather not have them. So that helps keep all of us level headed and also grateful for what we have. Hope that helps. How do you handle underperforming team members who have been with the company for a long time? You have to have systems in place. So we have certain feedback forms where we give scores to people. And if the scores are low, it's going to directly affect their performance bonus. And it's going to directly affect their tenure with us as well. So no one likes getting low scores, for sure. No one likes getting, and if you're getting low scores, because that form is every month. And yeah, that would tell the person if they're underperforming, and that would also tell me if there are people in my team who are underperforming, because I could see that. And those who have low scores, especially those who have been with the company for a long time, we flag them and we tell them, how can we get past this, how can we improve that. So yeah, it's a matter of talking with them first. And if that doesn't improve, we're going to have to give them a notice to explain. And you get, enough notice to explain memos, you're going to be let gone, So that's business. That's the way work works. And that's the reality of it. What steps have you taken to ensure that both old and new team members are fulfilled and excited with their work? It's a matter of you casting the vision and them owning and embracing the vision. And right now, every Monday we recite our vision statement and we remember that that's where we're going to go. That's the direction we're going. If the team members do embrace the vision, they know that what they're doing matters, because we're taking one step ahead, one step further towards that vision. That helps a lot with fulfillment and excitement. Otherwise, it would also be the camaraderie of the team. We're a very young team. I'm 33. I just turned 33 this year, and I'm one of the oldest, right? There are now a number of people in the team who are older than me, and we hired them during the pandemic. But otherwise, it's a very young team. A lot of people in the team are 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And we make sure that our training materials are really, really good. And we make sure that we mentor them, lead them, guide them, counsel or coach them, and really develop them. And that helps a lot with camaraderie, because they know that we care about their growth and we support them. And that helps them be fulfilled and excited. Also, make sure that you put the right people in the right seats in your bus. Don't put someone who's so excited about marketing in accounting. And don't put someone who's so excited about numbers in marketing or in web design. That's not going to work. So make sure that they are in their strengths areas where they're excited to do the work every day. That helps a lot. How do you help team members stay motivated, especially when the business is undergoing challenges? You have to tell them that here's the plan. This is where we are. It's challenging now, but this is our plan on how we're going to be able to get out of this and succeed and win. If they don't see a plan and you're also in the dark, and especially this is especially so if, for example, you lose a lot of your patience, you're always angry, you're always hot-headed, and all you do is just lash out at them without doing without doing anything helpful or useful, without making more solutions, changing processes for the better. You're just lashing out. That's very demotivating. That's something that will really wreck your team. But if you're someone who tries, your best to try to win, do whatever it takes to win, that is something that people will rally behind. And you have to tell them there is the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're on our way there, and here's the plan. This is what we're going to be doing, and this is what I'm going to be doing. If you have that plan in place, people are going to follow and rally behind you. When you lose a client, what are the steps you take to ensure it doesn't happen again? Well, it depends on how we lost the client. There are some clients, tinopak lang talaga, they just really wanted to churn and cut the contract, or they have their own financial problem, or we did a fantastic job and they're ranking number one already, and they feel like they can still be number one for, I don't know, like 3 years or so. And they feel like their competition is not gonna catch up. or the competition is not going to hire me, then they end the contract that way. So in those cases, can't really do a lot of stuffs about that. But in cases where we are partly at fault, my team is partly at fault, we have to really change some things. Like if there are clients that feel like we're too slow, then we have to make sure that we move fast for that client. We squeeze timelines. We are able to develop their projects a lot faster, a lot better. We update them every day. We make sure that they get our messages. We make sure to call them and ask them, hey, how are you doing? What do you think about the latest website, for example, that we were able to build for your web page? Or what do you think about the latest article? Or what do you think about our rankings now in the top 5? Like these are very important things for clients. And we have to make sure that we communicate these things and we do these things to ensure that we don't lose any more clients. That is very important. Now, I hope that helps. And before I move on to the next question, I want you to know that we are going to have a giveaway. And next week is when we're going to actually allow you to win entries in that raffle. So, what are we raffling off? It's the leadership stack shirts. So, this is one shirt. I'm actually wearing one right now. And what it says is motion before emotion, inspiration comes after you act. And I subscribe to this. It is a principle that I personally live by. For me, inspiration comes after you act. Don't wait for inspiration to happen, because if it doesn't happen, then you're unproductive. You've been able to do nothing, right? So first act, push the wheel. Once the wheel has turned a little bit, then it's gonna create steam on its own, and inspiration will come after you act. That's something that I truly believe in, and we made it into a shirt. I have 7 or 9 more of these different stuffs written on it. We're giving these away. Different shirts, different statements, branded leadership stack. And I'm not sure how much we're selling it for in Lazada or Shopee, but I didn't really. What I chose are the most expensive materials actually for the shirt, because I really believe in high quality in terms of branding. And yeah, so we're opening the raffle next week. I'm gonna tell you guys the link to join, and we're giving one away every 2 weeks. I think we're giving one away every 2 weeks. So if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, you have hit the notification button, you share our stuff, you're gonna get a lot more points in the raffle for sure. Okay, how are yours? How does your strengths add up to your leadership? When you say strengths, for me, these are things that you do, like it's second nature to you, right? You're just able to do them and you enjoy doing them. It gives you energy when you do them. So for me, doing this, for example, helping other people, adding value to people who also want to learn about leadership, this is a strength of mine. I'm not drained when I do this. I love speaking on stage. That's my strength. I love helping people. I love teaching people. This what I'm doing now is my strength. And how does that add up to my leadership is I need to keep on learning and growing, because I would like to give you valuable, sensible, and practical answers. And for me to be able to do that, I have to make sure that I also know a lot and actually practice them, because I'm a man of integrity. If I don't do it, I'm not going to teach it. So that's just one example. Another example is one of my strengths is in writing. And a lot of the communications that we've done in the onboarding process, for example, of a new team member, a lot of the stuffs that they read there, I personally wrote them. Our core values, I personally wrote them. The purpose statement, I personally wrote them. Right? These are my strengths. I love doing them. And it adds to my leadership, because now when people read them, they know the one who wrote these things must be practicing it, because if not, then it's just not gonna work. I lose all authority if I don't do what I wrote in our onboarding, and if I don't practice our core values, it loses its power. It loses its influence. So I have to live by them. I'm accountable to those things, and that helps me with my leadership. Okay, we have a lot of SEO stuffs here from Fawad. Contact me. I want to work on. Yeah, sure. Let me know. You're on LinkedIn. Just leave me a message there. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. No worries. And I'm glad you find the answer helpful. From Manzar, my experience keywords with 15 to 25 keyword difficulty can be ranked on the first page easily if the website TR is 70 plus. Yeah, website TR being 70 plus, that's very tough to be able to achieve. That means the website has a lot of good quality links already. So, yeah, it could rank first page easily. I do agree with this because the DR is 70 plus already. Can I link my latest blog article, my blog latest articles in every article on other websites as an author? Can I link my blog latest articles in every article on other website? Sure, I think you could. Maybe you're trying to achieve a higher EAT or expertise, authority, and trust. That's why you're asking this question. From an from a ranking standpoint, that would be helpful if you have an author page and you keep linking to it. For example, my author page is actually my website, sean.c.sean.si, and I link to my own website as the author of articles that I wrote. So that does help. Hey, Pat, thanks for tuning in. Good to hear from you again. And yeah, Patrick, by the way, is helping us with some of the leadership stack merchandise, namely our stickers, which I haven't been able to publish, but yeah, it's coming out. So we're giving these away as well. We have a lot of stickers that we're going to be giving away along with the t shirts that we're giving away. So if you need stickers, contact Patrick Miguel. I love the quality of the stickers, by the way. It's very, very good. We have a lot of questions pa. Wow. Okay. Do you try to win lost clients back? Yes, I do. Because it's easier to win. Well, it depends on how you lost them, of course. But if you lost them in a way where, for example, we are partly at fault in operations. Of course, if we were not at fault and they mismanaged their funds, kulang sila ng pera, we can't really win that back, right? But if we're partly at fault, operations was not up to par in terms of standards and output, then I try to win them back. I give them a very good deal, or sometimes it's a matter of relationship. I ask them, hey, you want to go out? Let's go for a drink somewhere, and let's just talk, just chill. And sometimes I win clients back that way, and it's important for me to do that because if the reason why they left SEO or they fired SEO hacker is because of our shortcoming, I'd want to redeem that and turn them into a promoter and a happy client. That is important for me. The brand of SEO hacker is very important for me. That's why I try to win lost clients back. How do you know if a client is a good fit with your company? They have to have the budget. If they don't have a budget for SEO that is not at par with our rates, then they're not a good fit. That is one very easy way to know if a client is a good fit or not. Also, if they have the requirements that they also require before starting a website. So, for example, do you have good content already or pre written content about your products, about your services? You have images, pictures, and videos. You have catalogs of your products and services. Because if you don't have them, we have nothing to build with. We cannot invent the product and the service write up in images for you. You have to have some pre-existing content that we have to work with. So they have to be at a certain level already before we can work with them. Otherwise, it's easy to know if they're they're not, if the relationship is not going to work. That's how we know if they're a good fit or not. And usually companies who are super cheap, they're so thrifty, super kuripot, usually they're also the hardest clients. So at the get-go, I just tell them, um, I could refer someone else. Actually, that's what I do. I just refer someone else, because yeah, yeah, those are usually the tougher clients. I'd rather not work with them. Have you ever taken on a client who is not a good fit? Yes, because there are some potential clients who are really good at charming you and talking you into partnering with them. But at the end of the day, they're gonna cheap you out. Like they're not gonna pay you on time. They pay you so small. They have so many demands. They go out of scope and ask you to do a lot of stuffs that is not covered by the contract. How did I manage it? I fired them. I tell them we can't do this anymore. Keep the website, keep your money, but it's not gonna work if this is what's gonna happen moving forward. If you're willing to change and pay us up, then well and good. We're gonna continue the service. We're gonna keep serving you, and everyone's happy. But if you're gonna keep doing this to SEO hacker, I don't think we are doing business anymore. I think that it's like a slave and master relationship, and our brand is not a slave brand. It is a premium brand, and it's the number one SEO company in the country. So I've literally fired him, and I think I fired all of my clients that are like that already. We don't have any clients like that anymore. We love our clients now, and we're happy working with them. Have you ever taken on more clients than your team can handle? How did you help make the workload more manageable for everyone? I think there's always a point in time where, especially if you're a services company like we are, you take a little bit more clients than your team can handle, because that's the only way to grow. If you're always hiring more than the clients you have, your business is going to die. Because if you, for example, hire 20 people and you only have clients for 15, so you have five extra people or manpower chilling out. They're just chilling and you're paying them. Number one, it's not good for your team morale, because the people who are performers in your team will see that and say, these five people, they're just chilling out. Maybe I should just chill out too, because they're getting paid anyway and they're just chilling out. Like, it's bad for team morale. It's bad for your culture. It's a big no-no. Number two, if you have 20 people but you only have clients for 15, so you have five extra manpower, what happens is, if you lose one more client, so now you only have clients for 14 or 13 people. Now you have six and seven extra manpower in the team. What happens is, potentially, you're already bleeding. The business is not making money anymore. So you're gonna fire someone, and firing someone just because you're not making money anymore is extremely bad for morale, because now people are gonna panic and they're gonna wonder who's next. Just because the leaders of the company can't make more money, can't generate more revenue, can't get more clients, my job is now on the line. That's very bad for morale. So I would always rather have more clients than people. Okay, have more clients than my team can handle, than have more people in the team that my clients can pay for. I would always have more clients. Why? When you have a lot more clients, people get stretched. You will see leaders rise. Who is the real leader and who's faking it? Because people who are real leaders, they stretch under pressure, they grow under challenges. And I love it when I see people who are growing under the weight of having more clients. I love that, because the leaders who rise, they rise permanently. And also, that enables me to now hire more people and take my time in sourcing more people for the team, because I can now check how much money do we have coming in and to hire X number of people. And in terms of X number of people, what's the kind of people that we need? What kind of attitude? What kind of culture fit? Can we profile them properly, etc.? So having more clients than my team can handle is always better than the other way around, where you have more people in the team than clients. Now, is it ever the case where you have exactly the right amount of people and exactly the right amount of clients? Extremely rarely would you have that scenario. Okay? Extremely rarely. And even if you have that scenario now, it doesn't last. It's just like for 1 month or for 2 months, and then you got to balance it out again. When you're a services company, that's what you're trying to play around with. That's what you're trying to play around with. Now, some services company would outsource a lot of their processes, a lot of their manpower, easier for them, right? Because when you hire more clients, you could just outsource more. But in SEO Hacker, we don't outsource our work. We do it all in-house. So in my case, it's a lot more difficult to balance this out. That's why we built our processes around having more clients than people. But to supplement the people in the team and not make it more difficult for them, we improved our processes to world class. And the tools we use, the software we are supported with, is world class. So when there's more clients than the team, it doesn't feel that way for a lot of people in the team. That's because of the support, the equipment, the empowering is world class in SEO Hacker, which allows me as a business owner also to save up more of the revenue we generate, for me to invest in people, for me to invest in our next batch of hires, for me to invest in more tools and software that are predictable, don't take breaks and vacations, don't get sick. It's always there to help us. So that for me is how I do it, and I hope that helps you out. How do you deal with clients who are behind on their payments, especially in the pandemic? It depends, because if the client is also in a very tough spot because of the pandemic, we don't shoot them while they're wounded. We actually tell them that we understand and we're partnering with them. And if there's anything we can do to help them, we would do it, and we do it. So we do help them out. That for them spells loyalty on our end. And guess what? After the pandemic, these are surely going to be the clients who will stick with us long term. But if they're just being cheap and they're just not paying up, it's just about following up on them and sending demand letters. I mean, I have to do what I have to do, right? You got to do what you got to do for you to also be able to eat and survive. And that is really just following up on them in their payments and or sending demand letters. And of course, you have to also stop the work that you're doing for them. Just like how PLDT will cut your internet if you're not paying, or your landline when you're not paying, and how Meralco will cut your electricity when you're not paying. We also cut our services when they're not paying. That's something we could do. Okay, we have questions from last week, but it's already quite full. Hey, Patrick Miguel, are you selling the stickers on Shopee or Lazada, or do you have a store elsewhere? There you go, Patrick. You already have an inquiry. All right. Doing business on Leadership Stack. What are some skills? These are questions from last week, right? Last week. So there's a lot. I'm just going to choose some. What are some skills you wish you learned sooner? Hmm. Um, some skills I wish I learned sooner. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm very skillful in a lot of things. Yeah, I don't think I am. I just know I'm good at tinkering with technology, writing, speaking, teaching. I'm not so skilled, as a human being. I'm not like good at drawing and a lot of other things. I'm not so skilled, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to answer this question. Maybe I'm just having a roadblock in my head right now. Sorry for that, Vian. What's your overall philosophy for leading an organization? My overall philosophy is everything is given to me by God, and I have to manage it in light of eternity, in light of what's been given to me. When you read the Bible, you realize that God will call to account everything that He has blessed you with. He gives you a certain number of talents. If you grow those talents, that's that pleases Him. If you don't and you just bury it under a rock, that for Him is something that's evil and unwanted. So for me, it's about leading, growing, and managing the organization in light of God's will. And that is for me to do the best I can with my resources, with my people, with my time, with my talents to glorify God. That's going to be my overall philosophy. And at the end of the day, it's to make God happy. Whenever I speak on stage, I make sure to give God the glory. The Leadership Stack podcast, the reason I started that is because I want more leaders to to rise up, not just here in our country, but everywhere in the world, but most especially here in the Philippines. Most of our listeners are here in the Philippines, and God knows we need more leaders, true leaders, right? Especially in the government, we need more true leaders who are self-sacrificial, who serve others, and yeah, we've seen some. Right now, we have Vico Soto, yeah, and I've known him in Victory when I was a youth because he also attends Victory before, and he's a great guy, and I love what he's doing now in the government. So it's all about God's glory, and this podcast is all about God's glory because the best leader is Christ Himself when He walked this earth, and I learn from Him every day. I read the Bible every day, and everything I do is all about glorifying God. I'm not perfect. There are times I make mistakes, and there are times people see the mistakes I made, and I'm not happy about that. I'm sad about that. But I try my best also to learn from these mistakes so that when people see the things that I do, they will praise God instead. Hope that helps. Hi, Sean. How do you motivate yourself? What are the hacks for morning and night routines? Healthy breakfast, exercise. My breakfast is very weird. I drink 2 cloves of garlic, chug it down with water, take my probiotics, which is in the form of kombucha, kimchi, or yogurt, fresh culture, and then I drink my vegetable juice. That's my breakfast. I don't eat rice in the morning. I don't eat carbs in the morning. And that's for having a healthy feeling in the morning and then exercising. That helps me to get my endorphins up. And then I pray. I thank God for the things He's blessed me with because up till today, I can't believe that I am very blessed and I have what I have and I am who I am. Because there's a lot of days when I've been kicked out of the house and I would go from house to house just trying to live for the day, just eating skyflakes, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I was that guy. And yeah, so I'm grateful and thankful for everything I have. If God takes me home today, I'm happy. If that's the case, I'm happy, I'm content. I can't be happier. That's the reality. And I think it's hard to have hacks and motivation coming from external sources. Motivation and true happiness really comes from within. If you're grateful, if you're thankful, you take care of yourself, you're gonna have um, you're actually gonna have a very fulfilled and motivated life. I hope that helps. I'm gonna stop there. I have more questions to go for, but we've run out of time. Actually, we're over time now. I said we started 8:20. It's 9:25 now. It's a little over an hour. I hope this episode has brought value to you, has helped you out, and if it did, please do help us by subscribing in YouTube and follow us on Spotify and share this episode to your friends, to your family. You can share it on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you'd want to share it. If this was helpful to you, maybe it would help them too. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, Leadership Stack is on every Thursday night at 8 p.m. And I hope to see you next week. Take care and God bless.